You know, first story, the split decision judgment of the Supreme Court over the Ondo State governorship seat was a game changer of sorts, if you ask me. In our country, as a ruling party, you must block a counter punch after you throw a first one. Governor Rotimi Akeredolu was affirmed the elected chief executive of the Ondo State of Nigeria under the All Progressives Congress APC party by a score of 4-3. This means that the opposition People's Democratic Party candidate, led by the gentleman Eitayo Jagede, has lost a last-ditch attempt at overturning the election. And so a battle of nerves is in the offing. The APC must consider its future in this circumstance, and why not? You are either Machiavellian or cunning in your political dealings, or be a student of Robert Greene's 48 Laws of Power to survive in the game, Jide.
Yes, and
you know the first law now. Oga na number one.
Yes, sir. Don't try to outshine your Oga.
Yeah.
If you try to outshine your Oga, it will show you the door.
Okay, that's law number 2.
I'm sure it's cheering news to a lot of the APC stalwarts that the governors are having a meeting later today on this matter to deliberate on the future of the party. The truth is, governors make a party strong. Governors can also weaken a party. Governors ensured that PDP was not able to retain power in 2015. How did they do it? Governors led the walkout against Goodluck Jonathan. And Goodluck Jonathan went into history as the first African president to have members of his own party walk out on him. You know, so at the end of the day, PDP did not survive that walkout because those governors didn't return. I think the only governor that returned was Sule Lamido. Okay. Sule Lamido was angry, left with them, but he returned to the party, and he has not left the party since 1999. He's one of the few very strong PDP members that you cannot accuse of jumping ship. It remains like that. So they have a choice between taking a big risk that can cost them the 2023 election, because the letters of the Constitution are quite clear. And talking about this in particular, even one of the judges on the side of the majority, Justice Agim, made it clear that PDP lost because they did not join Malabuni in the suit.
In the suit, yeah.
Whereas the whole issues revolved around him. So he said he should have been considered a party to that suit. He should have been a party to the suit, since all of the issues revolved around him. That was a fatal error that the PDP made that cost them that matter before the Supreme Court. Now, if people would be sensible, that is, it's like you've been given an expo. It's like you've been forewarned. You've been forewarned that, look, if these guys had joined Bemalas Buni in the suit, the outcome would have been different. You've been told in clear terms by even one of the judges who elected to keep Akeredolu on his job. So what further evidence do you need to know that refusing, that keeping the caretaker committee on their jobs at this time is putting the party at grave risk? All of the arguments and name calling, I don't even understand. And you know, the shocking thing is that even some lawyers, senior lawyers, have chosen to elevate emotions over reason. by saying, oh, Keyamo scored an own goal. I was on this program before Keyamo released that supposedly confidential statement that they accused him of scoring an own goal. About if I'm not a journalist, I'm not a politician, and I'm not a lawyer.
Yeah.
If I could say all of those things, do these people think that people in the PDP are so dumb, especially lawyers in their party, that they don't know that this is a banana peel, and so will not use it, and that is now Keyamo that is alerting them to it? Oh, was it Keyamo that alerted me to it? The letters of the Constitution are clear to people who understand English. So this is the thing.
But you know, there's this law. If anything can go wrong, it will. What would the law? I've forgotten the law. It says if anything can go wrong, it will. That's what played out. Otherwise, you can't expect a PDP not to. I
was shocked too. Maybe they were just overconfident that they had the case sewn up.
Oh yes.
That whatever happened, they will get victory. But and you know, the tragedy of this kind of thing is, you can watch the fact that you didn't plead at the lower court. You can't take before the Supreme Court.
That's it.
Supreme Court will only decide based on the arguments that you have had at the lower court. So even if you realize that you made a mistake, you cannot redress that mistake at the level of the Supreme Court.
But you know, we are all talking about Martinsi State. That's your Ondo State again in the news.
And the news, yeah.
But then, I'm looking at Jegede, the future of Jegede here.
Well, the future of Jegede is in God's hand. Political future. But you know, it is over now. The storm is over. But the consequences of that judgment against Jegede will remain there. Who knows?
But you know, political storms,
who knows?
They come with a gale that ceases almost immediately.
Tomorrow, Jegede may even join the APC. It doesn't matter. But seriously speaking, you know, it's not just about Jegede. It's about the what they call jurisprudential significance of the ruling. It's what we make or mar the APC. You know, from my own, from the intelligence I have gathered, they have now turned it to North-South issue, which is threatening even the security of the country itself. They say, oh, those lawyers who are saying this one, they are from the South. That is not the issue. But one thing is clear in this, the party should not just promote what Jide was talking about, emotion above reason and the law. They should look at what this thing. But even the idea of allowing the court to be deciding everything is an issue.
That's it.
They have their constitution. They know about this thing. They do every time.
You have a judicial victory.
Yes.
You have a political victory. How do you
But almost everything now in this country, even the president cannot sleep until the Supreme Court says he has actually won. Akeredolu, my governor, could not sleep until the Supreme Court settled it with 3-4. You know, this he almost lost. But that thing, what they said about this thing should not be lost on them. In the first instance, let's push the law aside to decide to talk about our country. Why should you even make a governor who has a job to do to be in office as chairman of a party for more than a year? Why? The law is there. It guides us. It's there.
There is law, there is morality.
There is law, there is morality. The letter, there is letter of the law, and there is the spirit of the law. So why should they insist? Why is it not easy for the governor even yesterday to say, let me return to my state? It is over after a year, more than a year. As chairman of a party, is there nobody else within the party to be chairman of the this same APC lost so many states. They lost Zamfara. They lost some other states like that because of their inability to adhere to court proceeding. As we were just talking there, you saw that a former president of even one of the most significant countries in Africa is in prison as we speak for contempt of court.
Yeah.
So we don't take the rule of law as rule of law. The rule of man that they want to be promoting in APC is not going to help them. They should consider public interest, national interest in what they do, because they have set off something that will cause confusion, that can also, they are the ruling party, they should be conscious of image of the party and image of the country that they carry. They own the president, they own the National Assembly at this time. The president, from the platform of the party, nominates even the Chief Justice of Nigeria. He nominates even National Assembly Service Commission commissioners.
Okay,
I think they should consider the implications, the consequences of their actions at this time. They should adhere to the law, reason, letter of the law, and the spirit of the law.
Okay, Yakubu is in Lagos and he's trying to reach us. Yakubu, welcome. Good evening to you.
Thank you, citizen. Good evening, sir.
Babajide,
good evening, sir. And then the other gentleman, good evening,
Martins,
sir.
Good evening.
Mr. Martin, good evening, sir.
Good evening.
Citizen, Yakubu, I'm one of a sympathizer of APC.
Okay.
But I'm not happy. I'm not happy that the lawyer to Jegede make a great mistake. A great mistake in the sense that I didn't mean that I'm a Jegede and then I pay this kind of a lawyer. I will ask him to pay my money back. Because I want them to lose in the court. So that they will learn their lesson. This is the same thing that happened to the party in Bayelsa. After they have been won the election, and then the election, and even in Zamfara, because of the court and all this kind of a nonsense. See, citizen, for me, what Babajide have been saying this, as you rightly said earlier, what Kiyamu says is not new to us, because some of us follow this program every day. We can't miss it. Babajide have already said it before. Failure to, in fact, the Supreme Court judges, they give them expo. I call it expo. They give it to APC. They could have left them. Let them win the election, and then the BTB take them to court, and then they destroy, and then they take them out of the team.
Yakub, we share your sentiments, and why not? But again, I just talked about a legal victory, a political victory. Where is the people must have a page in all of this? Everything seems to preclude the people. It's about party stalwarts, you know.
Yes, but they are the decision makers, so they will always be in the news ahead of the rest of us, because they are the people who make the big decisions, decisions that can make or mar our nation. So to that extent, their preeminence is misunderstood. Yakubu was talking about Bayelsa. To show you that a lot of the leaders of the APC, they are so downright selfish that they would rather want the party to even go down just for them to achieve their aim. And they imagine that those old men and women in the judiciary don't know what they are doing. They had no reason to lose Bayelsa. The candidate that they fielded as deputy to David Leon already had been well known to have issues with his certificate. I personally had known that for more than 9 months before that candidate was eventually nominated. At the point when he contested for Senate, the issue came up. The only reason he got through was because the opposition to his nomination was filed out of time.
Okay, outside of the...
Yes, outside of the time ceiling.
That's it.
It wasn't filed within that time ceiling that you should file.
Okay.
So he got out of jail technically. Now, you knew that you were lucky.
A first time.
Yes. You still went ahead, brought the same person. Have you ever seen that kind of thing? Because an individual feels so powerful, feels so strong in the party, and insists that this is the person that I wanted. And then when the Supreme Court did this job, they started abusing the judges. And people started saying, oh, why are they behaving like this? The people voted for a party, then the Supreme Court took it away. Why do we have laws? We will never have a decent country when our leaders and other people feel that the laws governing our country do not matter.
Oh, yes. Oh, yes.
And the Supreme Court and the judiciary generally is there to put people on the right track.
That's it.
When you step out of line, it is their job to say, no, you stepped out of line. If it had gone the other way, those who were abusing the Supreme Court for doing this job over Bayelsa, would they have been abusing them?
No,
because we are partisan about nearly everything. And when it comes to partisanship, we allow reason to take a flight. I'm surprised that even lawyers, senior lawyer, there's a particular senior lawyer that I used to respect. I saw what he posted yesterday. I said, is this man for real? You can see that we are not, many times, even when we say these things, you see that the judgment will come out the same way we had predicted. Not because we are lawyers.
No.
But because the letters of the law are self-explanatory.
Oh, yeah.
Self-explanatory.
So
their own constitution says that you can't hold those positions concurrently.
Yeah.
So what is the issue?
And it's as if you planned this thing. No. Ours is just to mold opinion.
Yes.
Based on what
and correct our leaders when they go wrong. The president, when he stepped in and said, look, we had to do something, we said yes, it was good to step in. Because clearly, from within, they were trying to destroy their own party. You saw even what happened in Edo State. It was APC governors that made the party to lose. They were busy working against their own party. I was discussing with a governor. That governor said, oh, I wish they told me that this was what they were going to do in Edo.
Who would have told him?
He said, no, his colleagues, he was shocked. Okay. It was not what he expected. You know, there are different groups, even among governors. He said, if he had known, he would not have invested all of that energy on nothing because people worked against their own party. Now, don't be surprised that if the hawks in the party prevail on this matter, because all what some of them want right now, some of the decisions that the caretaker committee are taking definitely favor some people. A group they would want that to continue.
Oh, yeah.
That's selfishness. Okay. So they would want that to continue. And some of those who are saying, no, this thing, we will not go back, that is their reason. Governors, for example, believe that this consensus idea should go on because they will now put only their own people. This is democracy. Why should a party say, okay, people should emerge only by consensus?
All right, there's a buyer.
Consensus does not mean unanimity.
There's a buyer waiting patiently in Ibadan. I greet you, buyer.
Good evening.
Yeah, let's go.
Yeah, thank you. You see, it's so appalling that the APC is now displaying arrogance of power. The same arrogance that destroyed PDP after 16 years.
Yeah.
I think many of them, when they spend too many time in power, they lose, their sense of logic and intellectual reasoning. Look, the position of the law is clear. Section 183 says that you cannot be a governor and hold any other office or paid employment. It says any executive office or paid employment.
Yeah.
The comparison to the chairmanship of African Union or Governors Forum by Senator Ovio Magege is misplaced. It's a display of intellectual fallacy. In the case of Governors Forum, the DG is the accounting officer. The DG of the Governors Forum is the accounting officer. At the AU, the Secretary General is the accounting officer. Those ones are just part-time appointments. But national chairmanship of a party is a full-time job.
It is.
Article 17(4) of the party's constitution further says that no executive member shall hold any position in any organ of the party. So why do you want to keep, repeating the same thing over and over again and expect a different result?
Yeah.
For some of us who are members of the party, we are considering challenging the continued stay of May Malabuni in court.
Bayo, thank you.
It will come from their party.
Yes.
Okay, I'm waiting for the page 2 of this interesting scenario.
Yes.
But you see, let's look at 48 Robert Greene's 48 laws of power. I mentioned it in passing. Number one, the number 1 law is the governor is Oga. Number 3, as I think says, don't show your hand too soon. And you have so many laws in Robert Greene's 48 laws that will fit the scenario in Nigeria. These people, sometimes, Martins, you wonder if these things are deliberate.
Well, the answer again may be blowing in the wind.
Maybe not.
But it may not be blowing in the wind. They may not be deliberate, but there's something we discussed there. Good journalism is like speaking to one's nation. What we discuss here, we, whether they like it or not, we tried to guide on how to run this nation well. And that everyone is concerned about this one. You know, the party system is in the Constitution. If you do not run a good party system, you can't do this. There is a way even the two parties can come together in the interest of the nation. At the critical time, they did recently, and the United States, when the Congress had to come together. After that one, when they wanted to indict the president, they said no. But at that critical moment, in the interest of the nation, this is what these people should be doing. But there was something we discussed there. These people are afraid of the president. The president put together.
So it seems.
Also, it seems. That's the way I see it from outside, that they are afraid because the president went there when the governor we are talking about, the point at issue was installed. The president went there, announced the dissolution of this, announced the dissolution of that, and announced the imposition of this, and has since been there. And the Senate president said to us that whatever the president brings, even to the House, to the Senate, is good for the country. So the person the president imposed on the party is good for the country, from the party in their own eye. Let's put it like that. I think that they are afraid. They should come out. I don't think they are doing.
I will explain why. I will explain why.
Analysis.
Don't forget that
they should come out and work in the interest of this nation.
Don't forget that those governors have positions on that committee.
Yes, they do.
So it is their own interests that they are protecting, much more than the interest of the president. There are governors. Look at, amongst the first people to say no, this we will not agree was Akpan Udoedoe.
But it's now
he is on the committee. Is he not on the committee? Self-interest is the driver of the big actions that politicians take.
Say it,
The first thing they do is, what's in it for me? The governors are on that committee. And a lot of them want this thing to continue. I know some of the people that I've spoken to since yesterday. And a lot of the people who are saying, no, the status quo should be maintained, are people currently benefiting from the arrangement now. I talked about the idea of consensus. Who are the people who want consensus? Is it not the governors? So that they can pick their own people, and the people who are opposed to consensus are the people who already are complaining that governors are becoming too strong in the party. Look, if the governors say today that they don't want this thing to happen, there's nothing the president can do. The president came up with an executive order the other day, before our very eyes, that they should not touch monument for local government. Governors went to him and said, no, they first went to him and said, that executive order, don't implement it. And he didn't implement it. He took the strike. The people took their destiny in their hands. Judicial workers went on strike. That was what forced their hands. It wasn't the president's executive order. That is how strong governors are. They've been strong, that's strong since Obasanjo's era, to the point that Obasanjo said, go and pick one of your own to succeed me.
They should listen to the voice of reason.
So they are the ones who don't want this thing to, are the ones who don't. If today they tell the president that, Mr. President, we have observed this, and this thing will not pay us, honestly, the president will yield. When they wanted Baba Oyegun to continue in power, 4 governors 4 governors stood up and told the meeting that, look, Oyegu must continue in power. He took the VP. The VP was the one who said, no, if we try this, we will not win the next election. We will lose all the seats.
That's it.
And then the president listened to the VP and said, the VP is right. Let's
now
not take
they
this
are
risk.
afraid of telling the truth.
All right, folks, let's go to our next story. You know, I'm old enough to know that talent is from God, whereas fame is man-made. The challenge had always been how to strike a balance between the two. Mercurial Police Officer Abba Kyari, the head of the IGP's IRT unit, was walking on sunshine, in a manner of speaking, but he was doing so in a lane full of banana peels. The Inspector General, Usman Alkali Baba, has ordered an internal investigation into allegations of impropriety leveled against the Deputy Commissioner of Police. This is sequel to the alleged indictment of the officer by the U.S. authorities over the scrutiny of a suspected internet fraudster Ramon Abbas, a.k.a. Hushpuppi. Now, the Federal Bureau of Investigations, FBI, wants Deputy Commissioner Abba Kyari arrested and turned in. According to George Orwell, the English novelist and critic, you remember, Martins, Big Brother is watching you.
Yes, watching you.
Yeah. Big Brother.
Watching both of you.
Watching both of you. You know, this is a tricky case now.
Oh, yeah.
You know, Ijide used one word now, emotion and reason.
Yeah.
Emotion too has come here, then reason, then the law. Now, you know the emotion. Super, you know, we have some description of this officer, super core.
Oh, yeah.
The most decorated.
Oh, come on.
If there is any if there is any riddle somewhere, if there is anything to crack, you remember Abba Kyari. Oh, the man who arrested Evans.
Oh, yes.
The man who did this one. This is the way we are here.
Yeah.
Emotion all the time. But now this is no time for emotion. The FBI, the big FBI, they've submitted their report. What is it? 69 pages. That's the report.
Yeah, no, you know, you showed me earlier on.
Yes, they have submitted
all these.
They are not joking.
They are not joking.
So they mean business.
Yeah, they mean business. They've submitted this thing to the Attorney General.
means business.
They normally submit this through the Attorney General. That the office of the Attorney General is not an ordinary office. Whether you like him or not, it's very powerful. He's the one who receives this on behalf of the federal government. They will write to him. Yeah, they can see the people, but it's still surprising the way we are discussing this thing, because I've read this thing, the way it is documented, but that is not the law, and that is not judgment. It's a report.
A report.
And they say it's their own indictment, and they want the guy to be the accused to be tried. But there are processes.
Really?
Despite our emotion, there are processes. There are international protocols. There are what the Inspector General of Police has done, yes, by saying that we will review this to him. They can't just hand over anybody like that to say, oh, they should take him away for trial. No, it doesn't happen that way. Yes, we have some agreement with them, extradition agreement. Then we have some acts we have to do. But the truth of the matter is that there are still some processes we have to complete from here. However, why managing it before the Attorney General will study and even investigate and follow his own processes? There are some expectations that we have to manage. People expect that once this thing happens, what should you do with him? Should he stay in office? Should he be outside the office while he's being investigated?
Yeah.
Should he have been suspended? The expectation that we have to manage is that he's not expected to be in office. Whether that one is legal or ethical or reasonable, is the answer is blowing in the wind. But the expectation that has to be managed is that, yes, once there is an allegation like that, and it has happened, people expect that he should not be treated anyhow, because be ye ever so high, as Lord Denning I have always been quoting, the law is above you.
Oh, yeah.
While he is there is a report from FBI. There is somebody who has said this. While he is being investigated, while things are being reviewed, people expect that he should not be protected by allowing him to be in office like that. But that is just a view. There is a government in place. The Attorney General is following processes, and they are doing all sorts of things. But then the law is the law. The law should be allowed to rule, and there shouldn't be any suspicion of protection of anybody, because that is very, very important for the credibility of the process. It's not about emotion of, oh, it's a super call, it's this, is that. This one is not like that. This is a process that has to be followed, and people have to be satisfied. Once people are not satisfied that, no, something is fishy, there's a problem.
Yeah. Jide, so this is not a question of this cup before us. Must we drink it or allow it to pass?
This one I will drink. That's why they put it before me.
So we're on trial, so to speak, if you ask me.
I'm shattered, to say the least. It's such a bad thing that in our country now, we are gradually getting to that level that you can hardly trust anybody.
You can hardly.
And those that we trust tremendously, we keep hearing stories that shatter our minds about them. People that we expect to be steadfast, people that we expect to be impeccable and above board. Yes, Mahatma Gandhi said no man can attain perfection while in the body. That is a fact. But there is a level of steadfastness that we expect from people like Abba Kyari and other people.
Oh, yeah.
That we invest so much trust in. Now, one of the first things that you must do as a super cop, or any cop for that matter, is that people who have shadowy and shady background, you must run away from them. You can't, given your level of intelligence, competence, and capacity in cracking crime, tell us that you did not know that Hushpuppi
was a marked man.
Not just marked, that he had a record of misdemeanors. You can't say that you did not know that he was a criminal suspect. Such person, you don't get close to him at all.
Oh, yeah.
You should know that. I'm not saying that he's guilty. It is not in my place to determine whether he's guilty. But that he could even be his friend, but that one bothers me. That he could even be his friend, to the point that, okay, they will be exchanging WhatsApp chats, messages and all that. That one is bad enough. You can imagine if I found my president, for example, standing beside Hushpuppi.
In a photograph.
In a photograph.
Even when it is...
Even if it was a photo opportunity for that guy. No. I will not expect that even his minders, his security men will allow him to get close.
Oh, yeah.
That is the way it should be for people like this. People like Abba Kyari. With their impeccable record, people don't expect to see them in the company of people like this. So if you are making... Now those guys are saying that they have call logs. The problem about the Americans, the FBI and the rest of them, is that they can wait for 20 years.
To nail
Remember the Panam bombing. The Panam bombing. When those guys planted the bomb in the aircraft that came down over Lockerbie and killed more than 290 people or so, they thought they would never be found. Where they bought the explosive devices, at the point when they were doing the investigation at the crash scene, they picked up fragments
of the bomb
that led them to the superstore where some of those explosive devices were bought. And they told Gaddafi, release these guys. Release these guys. From 1988, they were asking. They never left Gaddafi alone. That's why I thought that they were not really chummy with him. They said, release these guys. Release these guys.
Don't forget.
It was in 1999 that they were eventually released, because the Americans won't leave the matter alone.
Oh, yeah.
And then conviction came. Conviction came, 2011. See how long they waited just to make sure that they got justice.
Yes.
The trial itself was held in Holland, in a neutral ground. But they were still happy that this justice for our people that were killed, they will get it.
Oh, yeah.
They also did something similar to Manuel Noriega, president of Panama. In December 1989. In fact, some of there was a U.S. aircraft that they had never used before. They had just made it. It was in his country that they first dropped bombs from that airplane. In the end, Noriega ran into the Vatican because there is diplomatic immunity in the Vatican. They waited. You will come out. And they got Noriega, took him to their country and put him on trial there. Immediately he finished his sentencing, serving his sentence, the French people were waiting. They picked him up. You have a case to answer in our country. That is, a life of crime is such a bad life.
Oh, yes.
And we are dealing with people who will not leave this matter alone. I'm happy that on our own we are doing our investigation. As Martin said, let's do a diligent investigation. Let's show that as Nigerians we do not wink at corruption. Let's do a diligent investigation.
Oh, yeah. At least for once, let's disabuse the...
Yes, let's not give the impression that we simply want to cover up what has happened. No.
Or as a former British Prime Minister said, we are not that fantastically corrupt.
We are not that fantastically correct.
Yeah.
However, you know, there are some things that when I talk about managing expectations, people will want to remember some things that have just happened. That they should not see us as people who always sweep things under the carpet. Because there are some corruption issues. Yes, some corruption issues, including even the immediate past acting chairman of EFCC. There was an investigation panel.
Set up.
Headed by Justice Ayo Salami. We have not had a report of the panel. And he was to be promoted even recently. I don't even really know what happened. But there are issues like that. You know that the issue of Meina, you know, as you saw this thing, even the Attorney General was associated with it.
Yes.
They said that the Attorney General was cited in Dubai with the person before the person was made to return to the country to a Zoom office while he was being investigated. So there are so many issues to suspect. And they shouldn't allow us to run away with that perception that we have a culture of protecting some sacred cows.
All right. Officer Abba Kyari, we are sorry about this coming at this time, but since you have said you are not guilty, allow the process to go on. We wish you well. But do not forget, fame is from God. Talent is from God. Fame is from man. But let's manage both of them. It's important. I wish you well. Okay, to our next story. You know, the many giant strides of Borno State Governor, Professor Babagana Zulum, continue to edify in an era of helplessness. About 1,000 volunteer hunters, yes, you heard that right, hunters whose major mandate is to complement the gallant efforts of security agencies in the offensive against insurgents, has been launched. Addressing the hunters at Kadamari village, that's in Jere local government area, the chief executive of Borno commended the gallantry and sacrifice of these men and assured them of logistics support and a monthly allowance to ginger them too. In addition, the governor has inaugurated ultramodern primary and secondary schools in his beleaguered state in spite of everything. According to Sir Winston Churchill, success is not final, failure is not fatal. It is the courage to continue that counts. We wish him well. Jide.
Yes, and if there's anyone at this time with the courage to pursue the goal of developing the state in spite of the challenges, then it has to be Professor Babagana Zulum. You see, the emergence of Zulum should teach us a lesson. Kashim Shettima, the former governor of the state, picked the poorest of the more than 20 people who wanted to be governor of Borno State. He picked the poorest.
I think he was one of his commissioners.
He was his commissioner,
yeah.
you know, for RRR. But he was the poorest of them all. He never had a house of his own. He never built a house of his own. He had a jalopy. It was in anger that the governor took that jalopy from him and gave him a vehicle. He didn't have a house in Maiduguri. He never built a house of his own. The governor then said, look, come and begin to use, after he won the primaries, the governor said, come and use a house within my own expansive compound.
As your...
And he continued to use that place. After he won the election, you know, because people will come, those who want to do business with the state, that was the presentable place, corporate place where he was, you know, receiving them. In other places, this thing will have gone to the highest bidder. But Kashim Shettima went for the poorest of them all. The one who never... This is a man who in Lagos here was driving Kabu just to be able to pay for his education. And he rose to become a professor. That is why all his life he keeps working for the poor, because he knows that he was one of them.
It gives you inner joy.
Yes.
When you do that.
He's one of them. This man, you know, when I went to Borno State, after his 100 days in office, I saw schools that were built from the scratch, 3-story buildings, within 100 days.
Like
people didn't believe. Yes.
Like this one.
Those ones were even bigger than this. 100 days, so within 100 days, this man had completed. There's a place that is called Abuja.
In Maiduguri.
In Maiduguri, they call the place, you know, 3-story buildings in with air conditioners and all that. In 100 days, he could point to what some people will not finish in years. That's the kind of governor that it has pleased God to give that state. And you will see every step of the way he's doing his best. Now, Borno State can feed our country. The best beans from our country is from Borno State. The best fish from our country is from Borno State. He's doing his best now to get farmers to return to the farms.
Yes.
There are many people in the IDP camps that look, if the state was safer, they will not want to be receiving handouts in IDP camps. They will want to go and till the ground and farm. So it's now, beyond using agro rangers, he is now bringing young boys who are ready to fight.
Brave the odds.
He's now using them simply to protect farmers.
Yes.
In those communities that are deemed unsafe. That way, the economy of the state will improve. And they will be able to resettle people to those farming communities so that a lot of them in the IDP camps, because he said, look, we can't continue to finance this, take care of people in the IDP camps. They have more than 1 million IDPs in Borno State. So, how much longer can you be giving them food to eat, buy clothes for them and all that? So, now, if they can protect these people, they are not lazy. They will be able to fend for themselves. They will be able to work in their farms. That is the essence of these security people that is recruiting.
Yeah. Martins, you know, I'm told, in this vein, I'm told about the current vice president when he was commissioner in Lagos State. They say the governor then say, look, no, Ogami, I no get money to build house, you know, but take the land. I no get money and all that. But again, the question is, how much money does a man need in a 70-year lifespan? Now you are governor. Everything at your beck and call. You have a choice. Frittering it away or making judicious use of it. I'm fascinated by Zulum.
Yeah, definitely.
I don't know him. I don't know him.
You will remember that I have been writing about him even in my column, and I have never met him and asked him. I've never met him. I've never talked to him. I've never sent any message to him. Just
That's good journalism.
Yes,
many of the people we praise here,
many
of the people we praise here, we've never seen them.
Yes.
The day I saw General Adeosun for the first time,
yes,
I didn't even know him.
Yeah.
You know, he just hugged me and said, I am General Adeosun. I said, I had been praising you for 4 years.
You see, this is one example. We are not discussing somebody from the South. This is one example. You know, in spite of what he is saying, what we should add, in spite of all odds.
In spite of all the odds.
In Borno State, that is able to manifest all these schools, have been commenting on his commitment, on his courage. Was able to tell then General Olusegun Adeniyi when they mounted these roadblocks.
Yes.
And he confronted him and said, no, your people call you. He called him. Remember the story very well. He called him to say, look, let them dismantle this thing. They are extorting our people. Despite the condition, they have to sleep here. He called him that he should come. He came and he confronted him. He has told the president several times some of the inaccuracies in the way they portray the way they prosecute the war there.
The war, yes.
He has courage.
Oh, yeah.
Of conviction. He has good education and making use of it.
As a matter of fact, at a time he talked about fifth columnist.
Fifth columnist.
I said, this coming from a governor?
Yes.
No, he knows.
Yeah, you know, now he has realized that this one now, there is a failure of state, failure of even intelligence, failure of this, failure of that, is now recruiting hunters. He wants to...
Oh, yes.
How does one deconstruct this?
Yes.
Hunters.
You know, he suggested that we should recruit more people into the army.
More people in the army.
But you know, that one is not in his hands.
That they say mercenaries, they should go, you know.
He's just trying his best to find a solution.
We have been using the story that Jide was talking about. I'm happy he went to the foundation of how he was manifested. There were actually 23 of them. I used the speech he delivered that day before the primary, before the consensus. That was a good consensus. He appeals to them. He talked to them. Why by one by one? He said, I published the entire thing raw in my column. He will say, you are my friend. You know you are my relation. But this one, look at what he has done. He didn't do this. He didn't build a house. He had no car. He had this thing. He was in charge of reconstruction. It is in our own interest that we allow this kind of person this kind of selfless person to come on board. And the person who will not look at how much we released millions of naira to his billions to him, he used it well. This is the kind of person you are my friend. I know you have been preparing for he faced the 23 of them one by one and spoke to them that they should allow this man. He did not say we should go into contest.
He wanted them to back him.
Yes, to back him.
But they contested against him and he defeated them. But for the election, he needed their backing.
Yes.
Do you know that one of them still went to court in spite of all this?
Definitely.
One of them still went to court. They went to court against, to contest the primaries that produced Zulum.
He's a person who will go to a school by 6:30 a.m. and he will meet a teacher. And he didn't leave the teacher alone. And started talking to the teacher.
I promoted
her from the east. From the east.
Yes, I met the woman the last time I traveled.
The assistant headmaster.
Yes,
on
I
the
met
spot.
the woman.
And even gave her money. She didn't. Told the woman to please keep quiet about this thing.
She told me that the money he gave for a brand new, gave her brand new notes.
Yes.
When I met her,
So, that is an example. It's not about religion. It's not about ethnicity. It's not about anything.
The problem we face in our country, 2 words: good governance.
Yes, good governance.
Good governance has nothing to do with tribalism.
With tribalism, with religion, or anything. A good man is a good man.
Who is talking about religious bigotry in Borno State? Yeah, nobody talks about that.
Met that woman and rewarded her as a teacher.
Who is talking about tribalism? They have different tribes.
Oh, yeah.
Who is talking about tribalism in Borno State? When you deliver good governance to the people will be happy. They are not going to care where you come from. As far as they are concerned, you are their hero. When I wrote about it 3 weeks ago, I referred to him. I mentioned his name, that journalists don't need to be bribed to write about what is going on in Borno State. Yes, I wrote it.
I don't need any. I don't know him. I've never met him before.
Well, gentlemen, pictures don't tell lies. They tell stories. The footage we have from Borno State will more than tell everything we are talking about.
Not university, not
Governor
college of education.
Borno State.
Primary and secondary schools.
I wish say we should borrow you to other states, but you know,
even if for a few days,
but constitution no good. So we wish you well. We wish you well, and it tells me and everybody here it can be done. It can be done. I beg. Okay, so our job for today is done. Let me thank you. Did you enjoy your weekend? Send your bills forward.
Yes.
We'll
to
talk
Martins,
about it.
Right? Huh?
To Martins, yeah. Martins, enjoy
because
your
to
weekend.
send it to you is to waste one's time.
No, yeah, because you should know not the address. You know.